I think really my thought is very much a sort of a fundraiser and sort of, if you like, advisor, M&A advisor to law firms. Interesting sort of segue from what Dan was saying is I think the first themes, the industry themes that I see across the whole marketplace at the moment are massive changes and massive issues presenting management teams in law firms, all professional firms. And I think those come back to firms on the high street are seeing a metamorphosis in the changes and challenges that are sort of coming through. And there is an enormous amount of consolidation. You're seeing the B2B middle ground, particularly of legal firms, but also of accounting firms, being very challenged. And you either have to be small or very large, whatever that means. So I think, again, there are challenges sort of everywhere on that space. Capital constraints and distress. We're seeing now COVID, I think I call it a dam of distress is building up across professional services firms. There are definitely going to be some sort of winners and losers. And I think the first quarter of next year, calendar year, will be very instructive in terms of some of the distress opportunities that will be presented to the healthy law firms. And I think then new business skills, new entrants to the market are also the challenges. And last but by no means least, technology. We've talked a lot about remote working. Most of the clients that I have are now completely rethinking their working from home sort of policies. And you've seen some big city institutions now change to those fronts. So I think all management team in legal firms, any firms, are going to see enormous numbers of changes, and they must adapt themselves for those changes. Turning quickly to the investor's point of view, I think investors like corporatized solutions. I think they see corporates as attractive. They tend to have better quality management. That management is more decisive, and actually management is fostered as a core skill within those sorts of firms. So investors in any services firm tend to prefer the sort of corporatized option. I think the other thing about the corporatized firms is they do find it easier, I think, to acquire and make good acquisitions. So again, I think investors are sort of much clearer from the point of view of where that leaves them in terms of having a clear decision-making structure that can raise money, has good financials, etc., etc. So I think that's the sort of the core skills. What does it mean from a management point of view against all of that changes? In my own view, personally, it does mean that for anything other than the very large firms who probably corporatized anyway, the corporatization of a professional services firm is key, and really building management as a core skill alongside obviously the core skills of delivering their business. I think transparency is very important in the modern firms, not consensual management. I think consensual management is a big problem for engineering the gain, the achievements quick enough from that point of view. Financials will have to be at the core. I think 5-year business plans will have to become the norm. And I think forecasting will have to improve quite considerably in some firms of that. And I think technology will be the core of any business. You'll need probably more data analysts than you will sort of technical, if you like, professionals from that point of view. Digital marketing, the concept of Amazon law and all of these sorts of things will become very, very important. And I think last but by no means least is that management will have to present itself as being scalable, because I think a lot of managements are going to have to do more acquisitions now over the next 1 to 2 years than they've ever done in the past.